wanted to ask you, Mr. Tlali, are there specific questions that we've been getting frequently, or you have been getting that you want to?
Before we go to those questions, yes, they are. Then let me then move on to the next phase. You remember I said the first phase, it will be based on the slideshow. The second phase will not be on the slideshow, which is what could also be able to bring about, allow people to ask them questions. Now, I'll start with the first one. Who qualifies to buy a house? Those are some of the questions that I have been coming across. Who then qualifies to buy a house? Now, depending on how you are planning to buy a property, if you are buying cash, the answer is whoever has the cash ready to buy the property, okay? But if you want to use financial institutions, then it is any income earning South African. I'm trying to run away from using the words any employed person or any person that has a salary. As long as you can prove income, any form or way, then you are eligible to buy a property. Now, just on giving a little bit of background so that people understand how the financial institutions work, qualify people and have a look at people who, when they say now who should we sell to, or who should we finance rather, because the seller does not mind. They will sell to anybody that has the money, whether through a financial institution or cash. Now, the financial institutions have a look at this in this way. First and foremost, it's a credit agreement when you are buying through a financial institution. You are entering into a credit agreement with that financial institution. They are giving you a loan to purchase a property. Now, any credit agreement is then regulated in South Africa by the National Credit Regulator, the NCR. Now, with the NCR, they come with specific prescriptions, minimum requirements, and all those things for all different types of credits. The one we are going to touch now is on the property one. The current regulation says you cannot buy a property, meaning now with your monthly repayment, the monthly repayment towards property cannot exceed 30% of your gross income. Your monthly repayment cannot exceed 30% of your gross income. Now, what then happens is the banks or the financial institutions, including the bond originators like YDT Home Loans, we then are able to work it backwards to say your income is 10,000 every month, your gross income. 30% of your gross income is 3,000 rands, which means by law, any financial institution cannot give you a loan to purchase a property where you are going to pay more than 3,000 rands a month on the monthly installment. Now then, we work it then backwards to say for a 300,000, that's how they check how much you qualify for. Then we say for a 3,000 rands monthly repayments, how much a loan would it be for you to pay 300,000? Now, just a basic tip, which of course is not necessarily accurate now because of low interest rates, is that on average, on your monthly installment, you pay 1% of your capital debt towards your monthly installment. Meaning, if in this instance of 3,000, 3,000 is 1% of what? It is 1% of 300,000. Meaning, just on face value calculations without taking into consideration the current interest rate, what the bank is going to charge you, you already can just entry level of pre-qualifying yourself to say, oh, so if my income is 10,000, I roughly plus minus qualify for a 300,000 home loan. I do not want to say property because some other people might say, I have 200,000 rands cash, but I want to check how much home loan can I qualify for because I want to come with a cash that I have and with home loan. So which means then, if you qualify for 300,000 home loan and you've got 200,000 cash, you can buy a property for 500,000. You understand? So those are the basic things of qualifying. However, it does not end there, because what happens is the banks, or the banks in this instance, they then qualify you on 2 levels as a person, and they qualify you and the property, which is another. If we're talking, we'd say number 1, 1A, 1B, and then number 2. Okay. Now, they then first look at you and qualify you in terms of your credit record to check how's your repayment history. Can we trust you? Can we not trust you? Are you over indebted? Are you under indebted? When you are over indebted, it's against the NCR regulation for them to give you money. If you are under indebted, they cannot trust you enough that they can give you a credit agreement for 20 years. That is why you will realize the shorter the credit agreement, the easier for the banks to give you finance or to approve your credit request. Meaning, clothing accounts are one of the easiest things to be approved. Sometimes even when you have one adverse listing against your name, because it is an unsecured loan and it is a very short term, so therefore the banks can give you, because it is the same clothing accounts and those smaller credits that are used to check your behavior. Because most people that have got income can have access to a clothing account, and therefore then the credit providers say, here, which is the bigger now, the banks, let's say for a home loan, they say, all right, you were given a clothing account by so and so. Let's see how you handled it, so that we can have an idea of how you are going to handle our home loan, which is 20-year agreement. Because the clothing accounts, when you open it, they ask you, do you want it for 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months? So then they are able to check and say, okay, this account is for 12 months. Can this person handle this account for this 12 months? And how is their behavior in that smaller account for 12 months? And.